Be like, well, Susie doesn't have to ask her husband to take out the trash. Or Michael's wife cooks for him every night. Y'all, I ain't the one ordered to. You let somebody come and me comparing. I'm going to be like, well, you, Susie, and Michael can go enjoy your nice little polyamorous relationship. I'm good over here. Hey, y'all. Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brandy, and I'm so thankful to have y'all here. So y'all listen, anybody who ain't been here don't know. But y'all, I'm so passionate about marriage and people getting married and people staying married and people feeling like marriage is cool. People honestly enjoying their spouse. So my husband and I have been married for 22 years. So today I'm going to give 22 tips and tricks that we picked up along the way, pieces of advice that hopefully will help somebody because they've definitely helped us. And 22 is a pretty big number, so I'm trying to keep them short and sweet. But make sure you get in the comments for those who are married, been married, anything that you think might help somebody else, just share it. All right, y'all. Tip number 1. Don't tell everybody your business. Keep your own business in your own house. And I say this because, number 1, y'all, you're going to forgive your spouse. You are. Regardless of what you if you're going to stick around, you're going to forgive them. But when you told your mama, you told your sister, you told your best friend, you're going to forgive, but they're not going to forget. I'm not saying that you are, but when they don't forget, it's different than when you don't forget. They're not going to forget, and every time they see that person, they're going to side-eye them. Or they're going to look at you funny because they're going to be like, you did all this talking, and you're still there? Period. And don't let them be the right type of folks. You know, if something happens, they will bring up the situation and throw it right in both your faces. So ultimately, if there's something, a huge issue, of course, reach out to somebody. But for all the pettiness that we deal with in our marriages, keep it in your own house. Okay? Tip number 2, self-care is not selfish. Y'all, a lot of times we get in these relationships, these marriages, and then start having these kids, and everybody comes before us. You used to get your hair done, your nails done, get massages, facials, things to take care of yourself, make yourself feel good. And a lot of times that gets put on the back burner. But let me tell you, self-care is not selfish. You are important. And baby, go get your hair done. They can be at the house. They'll be fine till you get back. Period. Tip number 3, be right or be happy. Y'all, I'm not saying punk down from every argument. I'm not saying let your spouse walk over you. No, none of that. However, I am saying you do not always have to have the last word. And you know I'm talking to you. It's okay to agree to disagree and move on. Like literally, there's no need to beat a dead horse. I don't know why people say stuff like that. That sounds so terrible, but y'all know what I mean. Just let it go, agree to disagree, be right. You know in your head you're right. You know you're right. It's fine. Everybody don't have to know you're right all the time. Be right or choose happy. Number 4, don't get too comfortable. And what I mean by this, like, of course, let your hair down, show your flaws and all. But don't stop taking care of yourself because in the end, you don't want your spouse to have to take care of you. You know, we start really not eating right, not exercising, doing different things to where our health can really be impacted. And at the end of the day, who's going to be there to take care of you? That's not fair that because of your choices, somebody else has to take care of you. So just make sure that you're not getting too comfortable. Get comfortable, pass gas around each other, whatever you got to do. That ain't what I'm talking about. But don't get too comfortable to where you let yourself completely go. Number 5, praise is not just for children. When your spouse does something, when they do a good job, Let them know, good job, babe. I appreciate you, babe. You did that, babe. Like, words of affirmation go so far. Why do you think, kids get gold stars and smiley faces? It makes them want to keep being great. So it's like, if you do the same for your spouse, they're going to keep showing up and being great for you. Tip number 6, ladies, make your husband your forever boyfriend. And fellas, make your wife your forever girlfriend. And I say that to say, don't stop dating each other. Don't stop courting your wife, because I think a lot of times people, as soon as they sign that paper, the mindset shifts a bit and you don't do as much that excites the two of you, that keeps the magic there. So make sure that you're still having date nights. Make sure you're sending those cute little texts, leaving little notes, saying those little inappropriate but appropriate things. Keep the spark there. Forever boyfriend, forever girlfriend. Tip number 7. Remember that when you're pointing your finger at your spouse, 3 fingers are pointing back at you. Nobody is perfect. People make mistakes. When I say nobody's perfect, that means you too, boo. You're not perfect. Mm-mm. Tip number 8. Be careful who you take advice from. Now, Aunt Lulabelle and Uncle Charlie have been married 43 years. That seems to be a wonderful thing, right? But Uncle Charlie got 3 outside kids. Aunt Lulabelle got a rap sheet long as her arm because she been busting windows out of cars and cutting baby mamas. Like, no, use some discernment and make sure you're getting, if it's marital advice, get marital advice from healthy people who are in healthy marriages, I should say. And even for those who might not be married, some can give good advice based off of things they've seen, or they're qualified people such as therapists, but just make sure it's not just coming from social media, TV. Make sure you're getting advice from the right people. Tip number 9, y'all, love is not enough. I don't know. Some people think that if you love somebody, every day is going to be rainbows and sunshine, and that's just not the case. I'm sorry to break it to you, my friend. Just like faith without works is dead, love without putting in that work ain't going to work. Like, it is not meant to be the hardest thing, but it's definitely not the easiest. You're going to need a little bit more than love, guys. Tip number 10. Make sure you want that marriage just as much as you want that fancy wedding. Just saying. There are sometimes people married 3 months can no longer stand each other because they were more excited about the wedding and the ring and all the superficial things that come along with being married other than being married. When they realized, oh, I got to see you every day. Oh, you the only one forever. They didn't think about that before. They were so, just dead set on the beautiful wedding. So just make sure you want your marriage as much as that fancy wedding. Tip number 11, and this one stands alone, no explanation necessary. Forgiveness is not a weakness. Remember that. Tip number 12, make sure to have a life outside of your spouse. Now, I understand you were brought together, joined as one under God. But baby, y'all are 2 separate human beings, period. Wives, go to brunch with your girls. Y'all go to boozy brunch, get y'all some mimosas or whatever, start talking. And then come home and have pillow talk with your husband. Spill all the tea. Y'all know we do it. I tell my husband everything. Unless somebody really told me not to tell, I'm going to tell him. Period. This is what we do. At that point, my husband goes from my husband to another girlfriend. Because so him, I slip up. I'm like, girl. And I'm like, sorry. Number 13 is very important. If you say that you forgive them, stand on business. Don't renege. Y'all, nobody's perfect, period. So if your spouse has done something and is truly remorseful and you say you forgive them, it's done. There's no double jeopardy when you get mad again. You cannot forgive somebody and then feel like you have the right to still throw X, Y, and Z in their face, because that's not how it works. Like, if God did that to us, where would we be? If God was judging us for everything that we did since we've been out the womb, every time we do something else, what kind of life would that be? It's not fair to throw perfection on a human who's not perfect. And we're not perfect either. And we would want that same level of forgiveness. So if you're going to forgive, if you're going to say you forgive, truly forgive. Number 14, find out your spouse's love language, and find out your own if you don't know. Like, they have a love language quiz that you can take online, and it's really a fun thing to do. It can be like a little date night type thing at the house. I think they have a whole book that goes along with it. But find out your partner's love language so you can know how to really love them. Is it words of affirmation? Is it acts of service? Take the time to really learn your partner. And in turn, you'll probably be learning yourself as well. Tip number 15. Go on YouTube right now, and being it's about the end of the year, I'm sure you can find hundreds of videos about reinventing yourself. Period. Reinvent yourself by 25. Reinvent yourself in 2025. And I feel like you can reinvent yourself at any age. You can reinvent yourself as many times as you want. You can become the best version of you. But just know, you can also reinvent your marriage. What worked for you at 25 might not work for you and your spouse at the age of 50. So what do? Start over. Do new things. Reinvent that marriage to where you get to honeymoon all over again. But cultivate your marriage to what you need at the time. It doesn't have to remain the same forever. Tip number 16. I've said before, I'll say it again. Respect your spouse when you're with them and when they're not around. Do not have your spouse looking crazy in these streets. Number 17. Don't let your friends, family, social media, or society define your non-negotiables. Period. Like, it's not a one size fits all. Some people are okay with certain things. Some people are not okay with certain things. Usually, until you're put in a certain situation, you don't know what you can accept. You don't know what you can get through. You don't know what you can forgive. You don't truly know what your non-negotiables are. So, don't let anybody make you feel bad if little Larry, slipped up. I'm sorry. Like, that doesn't mean you have to divorce little Larry. Little Larry can go to therapy. You and little Larry can talk about it. But don't let somebody rob you of your marriage and your happiness, because a lot of things, y'all, they can be fixed. Period. Tip number 18. Remember that comparison is the thief of joy. Your marriage is your marriage. My marriage is my marriage. Don't start comparing to your neighbors down the street. Be like, well, Susie doesn't have to ask her husband to take out the trash. Or Michael's wife cooks for him every night. Y'all, I ain't the one ordered to. You let somebody come at me comparing, I'm going to be like, well, you, Susie, and Michael can go enjoy your nice little polyamorous relationship. I'm good over here. But, but for real. Yeah, be thankful for what you have. Because you don't know what goes on in other people's houses, really. You know what they want you to see. Don't forget that. Tip number 19. And y'all know I love music. I do. So I make musical references all the time. So what did Nas say? He said, watch the company you keep and the crowd you bring. Now y'all know, y'all have had some of the same friends your whole life. I get it. But you also know which of those friends might be 304s. If y'all don't know what a 304 is, Google it, Urban Dictionary it. Y'all know what I mean. Some people you can't just hang with after you're married. Like my grandma used to say, it just don't look nice. People will have you in situations and places you don't need to be as a married person. So make sure that you watch who you're around because you're only as good as the company you keep. Number 20. What they say, happy wife, happy life. I mean, I agree with that to a certain extent, but I prefer happy spouse, happy house. You both need to be pouring into that marriage to make sure your other person is getting the experience that they should be getting, is getting all of the love, all of the affection. Make sure they're happy. If something's going on, try to fix it. Because if one person ain't happy, it's just really not going to work. So happy spouse, happy house. Number 21. In the course of your marriage, you're probably going to want to give up on it. You're going to want to throw in the towel. So you're going to have to armor up at the beginning. Like, it's so easy to run. And that's why so many people get divorced. They don't want to work through things. But make sure in the beginning, y'all start developing your playbook. So whenever somebody's feeling away and that person might want to run, the other spouse needs to be the coach and call an audible or something. And you run the new plays that, that y'all have set in place because marriage is too much of a wonderful thing to give up on. And number 22. Y'all remember when WWJD was a big thing? What would Jesus do? We're going to switch that up a little bit and make it for marriage. HWIFI. It don't roll off your tongue that well, but stay with me. How would I feel if? When in doubt, if you about to do something, if you're about to say something, if you're about to go somewhere, if you're about to not do something, say, how would I feel if my spouse did the same thing? My spouse went to the same place. Put yourself in your spouse's position, and that might keep you from doing crazy stuff. Period. Again, respect your spouse, and that's respecting yourself at the end of the day. So y'all, those are my 22 tips and tricks and just 22 thoughts, 22 things I've gotten along the way and my husband has gotten along the way in our 22 years of marriage. So I thank y'all for rocking with me. If you like this content, please like, comment, and subscribe. And again, get in the comments and drop whatever words of wisdom you can for other married people or people who are wanting to get married because we're trying to uplift marriage and get more people married and keep more people staying married. All right, y'all. Well, y'all know I'm about to go to work. So it is a great day to have a great day. And I love y'all. Bye.